Hello and welcome to another episode of It Came From the Page. And we're having a book haul today, which is something I have not done in a while. But as you can see, it was very much needed because somebody's been quite bad with how much books they've been buying. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. So basically what happened is, I recently hit 1K subscribers. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to buy some books to celebrate, and for which I have a fairly half-decent haul for books that I was like, oh, I've been looking at this for a while. I want to celebrate hitting 1K. I should buy these. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I put money away from that. Woot, woot, woot. But then I had the unfortunate, but also very fortunate, because when you see these books, you can be like, what? Scenario where my local used bookstore got in a crap ton of old, hard-to-find vintage horror paperbacks. I really wish I had more tastes that were easier to just kind of collect and get everywhere. But unfortunately, when it comes down to some of those 80s horror paperbacks, if you see them in a wild, you better grab them, because if you don't, they'll go for like $1 bajillion online, and it's just like, you gotta do what you gotta do to get the things that you want. So anyways, yes, I know I'm a bad person and I bought too much. Don't be mean to me in the comments, or do, whatevs, live your life. First off, let's start with, this kind of goes from expected to the unexpected, so bear with me as we go here. This was in my local used bookstore's 25-cent bin. This is Star Trek Log 1 by the good old Alan Dean Foster. Now this is actually a novelization of episodes of the Star Trek animated series from the 70s, and I've actually never seen any of that, which is a big surprise considering the original Star Trek era is my favorite of the Star Treks. I love all of them, but I have a particular fondness for Spock and Kirk, and of course Bones. But yeah, so this is like a novelization of those, and I think there's about 10 volumes of these, and I've never read any of them, but I bought this because it's 25 cents, so I was like, oh, whatever. Speaking of random weird stuff that I don't know if I would have bought had I known that big haul was coming up, this is a Battlestar Galactica adventure. It is another thing that's an adaptation of various episodes of the 80s Battlestar Galactica. I've never seen that, but hey, it's kind of a novelization. What do you call those? I guess, yes, it would be a TV novelization, so you can't. Now we're going through novelizations, and this is a movie I don't even like that much. This is a novelization for the movie Scarface, but I mainly bought it because it's written by Paul Manette, and Paul Manette also wrote the novelization for The Predator, and he was a queer author, and he was a queer poet, actually, so I'm interested to read a movie that I don't really like because of some of the things that it says and how it treats certain characters. So it would be very interesting to see if the novelization changes that or not. Now we are into a weird series that I kind of fell down the rabbit hole of, and that is the Dark Future series. Now, last year for Garb August, I bought but didn't read the Comeback Tour, which has an amazing cover. I'll put it up here. And I've been kind of sitting on my haunches debating about whether or not to buy the rest of them. And I ended up, this was the thing that I was my big in celebration of 1K that I wanted to get, because these are hard to find. So I have Dark Future Route 666. I love it. Then I have this Dark Future, another one by Jack Yeovil, which is actually Kim Newman. I love the covers. These all, like, if it's in like the trade paperback, because like I have one that's like in a smaller trade, like in a smaller like mass market format, and it doesn't have the artwork. But these are the original versions, not the reprints, and they have cool looking artwork in them. So I really enjoy that, and I think that's really cool. So excited about that, and I just also love the way this lady looks. She's got like a cool outfit on. I don't understand, it's not very practical, but I love it. And then a thing that I didn't know until recently was that the Dark Future series actually got updated and had new books released from it in the early 2000s for Black Flame Publishing. And if you don't know Black Flame, they were a super limited print run publishing house. And you mainly see these books go for crazy money online because of the fact that they did a lot of Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, both novelizations and original books in those universes, and those ones go for crazy money online. And because they're so rare to find, as soon as I know something is from Black Flame, if I find it for good money, I pretty much have to buy it, or else I might never see it ever again. So this is Dark Future American Meat and Dark Future Jade Dragon. This is actually by James Swallow. I really like James Swallow as a writer. He's written things for like Star Trek, but I mostly know his stuff from Warhammer. Speaking of Warhammer, these are 2 books I literally bought today. And you're like, didn't you just say you were buying too many books? And I'm like, this was planned and I got paid today. So different paychecks. So this was in my quote-unquote fake-ass budgeting system that I have, which isn't a real one. So I bought Bad Loon Rising. I bought this for my June Patreon readathon that I'm doing with Kelsey from Slam and Slashers and Kitty from Spicy Cats Reads. And I actually have updated this cover to be more accurate for that readathon. As you can see here. Anyways, I actually heard from my local guy who runs the Warhammer store that this is actually pretty good. So I was like, oh, I'm going to buy that. And then this one I bought because it was very cheap and I kind of like the author. So I say I like the author. I've only read like 50 pages of one of his other Warhammer books, but I loved it. And I just haven't finished it yet, but it was like really good. So I was like, ooh, I'll listen to this. And it's got like a cool lady. She's flying. I'm down for cool flying ladies. She's got like a celestial spear. And this one was actually really cheap. It was only $12. So you really don't find trade paperbacks for $12 very often. So I was like, well, it looks cool. I like the author. I might as well. This is a book that I bought new, which is, there's not many of those in this collection. Those 2 and this are about it as far as new books go. But this is a book from Aconite Press. And they have a whole bunch of stuff on NetGalley, and I actually got the NetGalley arc for the sequel to this book without realizing that it was a sequel, so it sounded interesting. I've liked the other stuff I've read in the Arkham Horror line, so I thought, hey, I'll go buy this and read this because it looks pretty cool, and it's going to be a way to make sure I'm up to date and I can properly review that arc as I get through it. I have been listening to a lot of arcs, and I don't have too many left. Now we're going into my paperback haul from Paperback from Hell, bitch. This one, The Convocation, is one that I've had on my wish list for abs, and mainly it's because, look at this weird creature. What is it? What secrets do you hold, Mr. Creature? I do not know, but I want to find you. I'll buy anything with a creature on it. I'm a real easy sell. Moon Death by Rick Hatula. I've actually read a few Rick Hatula books. By a few, I mean one, but I liked it. It was The Mountain King. Pretty good. And this is a really cool looking cover, and this is also Zebra. Really good condition on this one. The Hands of Lucifer. Ooh, what's The Hands of Lucifer like? By John Teagues. I don't know anything about this. I've never even heard about this book before. I'm pretty sure I haven't even seen this cover before. So I was like, ooh, looks interesting. What's Lucifer's hands doing? Watch them hands, Lucy. Wild Blood by Nancy A. Collins. I own an omnibus of a few of her books, but I didn't own this one. I thought I did, and then I went to check, and I was like, oh no, I left what I needed back. So I had to go back to the store and buy this. Luckily, it was still there. Scryer. This is another one I had to go back and purchase when I found out that it was in my Loomis. Sorry, Loomis was interrupting. Looked like he was about to turn everything around. The Scryer is another female written paperback from hell. This is in the Tor horror line. I don't know much about this, but I did have it on my thrift books wish list at some point. So somebody I know hauled it in a way that made me want to read it. So I was like, I gotta read it. This one, oh, I was very excited to find this. This is a Vampire the Masquerade short story collection by Wild Wolf Fiction. By White Wolf, not Wild Wolf, White Wolf Fiction. And they also do like Werewolf the Apocalypse. And I do actually own... It's not here. I thought I literally had it right beside me, but I did not. But there is a Werewolf the Apocalypse short story collection that I found last year, so I was really excited to find the other one that goes with it, and that's the Vampire Masquerade. If you don't know what Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is, I think Bloodlines is a game, but Vampire the Masquerade is it's D&D for goth people who are really hot and cool. If you know what it is, then you're probably hot and cool. I could never play Vampire the Masquerade because I wasn't hot or cool enough to. But I can read their fiction and be like, I know your secrets, hot goth people. Please don't reject me from your clubs. This one also has really cool artwork in them. Cool. I love vampires. I love vampires. Here is some weird Star Wars books that I literally found today in a little free library, so I didn't spend any money. Don't come at me in the comments. But we're going to go through these very quickly because I don't know anything about them. They might be good, they might be terrible. Star Wars, The Young Jedi Knights, The Shards of Alderaan. And I was just like, ooh, who's that? Is that Mr. Feta de Boba? I'm down. Mr. Boba A. Feet. Another book from that series. I don't know if I've heard anything about this series, but I found a bunch of them. I feel bad for this Wookiee. Why has this Wookiee got some shaved arms? Like, damn, that Wookiee's been through some stuff. This one, it's got IG-88 and Dengar on it, and those people are such... Dengar especially is the dumbest looking of all of those bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back, so I love to buy it and read anything with Dengar's stupid face on it. The Star Wars, The Crystal Star. I know nothing about this book. It was in a little free library, and I was like, why not? Oh, I thought I was out of those ones, but this one is Trouble on Cloud City. Ooh, those young Jedi Knights are going to be taught how to be cool and drink Colt 45s. Because there's good old Billy D. Williams. These two are... a few months ago, in a different little free library, I found the second book in this series, and I bought it because it had, like, Admiral Akbar's silly face on it. But I was missing books 1 and book 3 of this Jedi Academy trilogy, so I found those two, and I picked those up. I don't know anything about these. Legitimately, no information for you, for I have none. No information. Now we're back to Paperbacks from Hell. Deadlines by John Skip and Craig Spector. I've only read Light at the End by them, but I really liked it. So I need to read more. And also, it looks really weird. Like, why is this, like, box a man with the face? And why is it exploding and blood coming out? You're like, what's going on? What is going on? This one I was really happy to find because it's a hard book to track down for a good price. This is The Feeding by Lee Clark. I've read Lee Clark's Carnivore and I loved it. And you might be seeing it in a few seconds and be like, what? So I'm really happy to find more Lee Clark books. Carnivore was one of those books that's just a lovely, campy, cheesy cheese fest. So I'm really happy I found this one, The Feeding. T.M. Wright's The Island. I've not read any T.M. Wright books, but I have quite a few of them, and I also just love it because it's shiny. And I'm like a crow or a raven. Nevermore, I forget which one it is, but whatever one is attracted to shiny objects, that's me. I'm like, ooh, it's a shiny cover. Coming on with me. Then another book that's kind of... this part's shiny, but not the rest of it, is Blood Brothers by T. Lucian Wright. I don't know, it's vampies. If it's a vampire, I'm there. I'm there. There's nothing I wouldn't do to hang out with a vampire. They're cool. I wanted to be part of Vampire Masquerade, you know? It's a thing. Here is a book that I literally know nothing about. Death Dreams. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is he dreaming about death? He's probably a millennial. Night Bloom is a book that I've seen before, but I don't know anything about. Night Bloom. I don't really know anything about this one. What does it say? Night Bloom is death. Night Bloom is obsession. Night Bloom is terror. See? And now you know as much as I knew. Cool stuff. Here's a weird one. The Science Fiction Bestiary by Robert... Oh, it's edited by Robert Silverberg. But from what I think that this is just a collection of short stories featuring cool and interesting beasties. And you know me, I love me my beasties. Like, whoa, look, it's got eyes on its wings. What can it see? What can it see? Here's one that is the person who runs a used bookstore literally sent this aside for me because they thought it looked kind of like dumb and I would instantly buy it. And they were right. And that is Temple Dogs because it's so silly looking. Like, this is amazing. I'm sure I'll hate this, but it looks so funny. This was the game plan for General Clean. U.S. Army retired. The number 2 man of ESK International, waging a private war for power inside the world's largest corporation, waging a real war in the Far East to secure his goals. William Corbett was ESK's top temple dog, a troubleshooter who smelled something rotten inside, who asked one question too many. Now he's the target of Klein's computerized blackmail scheme, fighting desperately to clear his name, save his life, and halt an inhuman program that will plunge the Far East into another bloody conflict. Looks dumb. Prime Garbagus material. I bought this as well. This is Sisters of Sorcery. This is another Aconite Books thing, and I've read Marvel Zombies by this author, and that book is really good, and I really liked her writing, so when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'll pick this up. I like magic-y magic stuff. It's cool. I like magical stuff. We are ending near the end, don't worry. I mean, I say that when there's still probably like 20 books. Please don't judge me. This book, I don't know nothing about it, but look at this lady. She's smelling a rose, but she's got a hatchet behind her. What you gonna do with the hatchet? Shadow behind the curtain. Who killed little Daisy? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I just love the cover. I think it looks awesome. And I also like the author's name, Velda Johnston. That's cool. That's a cool name. This was another thing in a 25-cent bin, and it's Dragonlance Legends. Volume 3, Test of the Twins. I don't know. I know nothing at all about this, other than what I read in that D&D Art and Arcana book, and it sounded interesting, this setting. So I was like, I don't know. I'll read it. I should read it. This one, I just love the cover. Hell's Cartographers. Whoa. Whoa, it's Hell's Cartographers. It's a short story collection, but I just here for the cover. Look at them skellies. Skellies. Everybody's loving all the skellies. Here is a Douglas Borton book called Shadow Dance. Dancing with the shadows, doing a shadow dance. This one I've had on my list for a while, but I've just never pulled the trigger on, and I was very happy to find it in the wild. This is After Age by Yvonne Navarro. This is a vampire tale, and it is set in Chicago. A plague of vampirism has swept across the country, reducing once thriving cities into ghost towns. In Chicago, a few shattered survivors hide behind the fortified walls of the office buildings and museums, raiding deserted stores for dwindling supplies of clothing and food. Meanwhile, a hungry vampire population also struggles for survival as their prey grows scarce, forcing them to capture alive the last remaining humans as breeding stock for the blood farms that will ensure their future. Now a small band of humans makes a desperate last stand against their vampire masters, fighting back with the only weapon that can kill the dead. Sounds amazing. Cannot wait. This one, I don't like the cover, but like I love Lisa Tuttle, so I picked this one up. And this is Gabriel. Know nothing about this one. I don't love the cover though, and I don't like this cover. I'll be honest with you, I don't like this cover, but I do the author, so I'll give anything that Lisa Tuttle writes a chance. She has more than proved her abilities being good. Here is a zebra horror title, The Spawning. Woo woo woo! Apparently has to do with satanic seduction. The only kind of seduction I want. This is Deadly Friend by Diana Henstill. And this is the book that the movie, the Wes Craven movie, is based off of. That movie is so much fun, so ridiculous, and definitely a book that I want to read, especially if it's anything even remotely like the movie. I hope a lady's head explodes. Here is The Heirloom by Thomas Luke. But do you know who Thomas Luke really is? He's Graham Masterton. It's Graham Masterton. It's Graham Masterton. He wrote under pseudonyms. Boom, 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 boom. And this is one of them. The Heirloom. I don't need to know anything other than it's written by Graham Masterton. I'm going to read it. This is John Ferris's scare tactic, and I love this cover. It's like, whoa, look at this dragon. And it's like, ooh. The weird thing about this is this the Tor horror dragon? Like, I literally think it is the Tor horror dragon on the cover. That's weird, right? What? Like, that's the symbol for Tor horror. Is this where that symbol came from? Is this cover? Or were they like, oh, we don't have any covers for John Ferris's new book. Oh no, what are we gonna do? And then this one guy's like, what about this dragon? And they're like, oh my god, isn't he on the covers? I'm like, yeah, bitch. But now he is the cover. And you're like, whoa. Who knows? That I could have just recreated a scene right as it happened. Unlikely as that is. Oh, Second Fire. Bitch, better than First Fire. I bought this because it's an animal attack book featuring bats. And the last animal attack book I read featuring bats was Nightwing. And I love that book. So, the last one I had that had giant bats was actually The Vespers by Jeff Roven. But I also really like that one. So, animal attack books with them batsies. I will give him a chance. We'll see. Second Fire, better than the first. Only got a few more left, even though I said that earlier. Look at this, it is Sweet Blood by Pat Graverson. I just like vampires, okay? Look, I'm a vampire man. Live the vampire life. I will die the vampire life. I will never get into the goth clubs where they all play Vampire the Masquerade. But I will still be out there in the alleyway being like, please let me in. And they'll be like, get out of here, bitch. Then there is, what's this? Carnival by Lee Clark. Didn't I say I already read this book? Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. I have actually read this book. It's amazing and I love it. And this is in a better quality than the book that I do have. So I'm going to swap this out, my old copy with this copy, and send my old copy to Kelsey because she's the only one who actually reads the books that I send her. So she gets all of them. This. And she's the best, obviously. Then there's this one, Brethren by Sean Ryan. I didn't know about this book, but then I saw a gripping debut by who was that? Oh, it's Robbie McCamey. Speaking of Kelsey, look, if Robert McCammon thought it was a gripping debut, I'm willing to believe him. I don't know anything about this, but it's supposedly gripping. Little kitten, what are you doing? Sorry about that. A kitten was just biting books that he was not supposed to. Because he's evil, but I love him. Next up, The Raging. Whoa. This is a weird cover. It's a weird cover for a weird book. That's what I'm guessing. What do you think? Mwah! Kissed you, bitch. Then we have, I found the first Blackwater book. I actually own the bind-up on Audible, but I will never put down or say no to finding one of those original versions of how they released Blackwater. This is Michael McDowell's, I think it's 5-part series, 5-part epic, and this is the book 1. So I thought that was very cool. And I've never read it. I haven't read it yet. I always put it on lists, and I'm always like, ooh, I gotta read it. What do you think? Oh, it's looking at you, kitten. It's looking at you. It's looking at you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Blackwater's coming for you. And now the final 2 books. Crucifix or Crucifix? Yeah, wait a minute. Isn't it Crucifix? Why does it say Crucifix? Does someone, like, fax you a crucifix? Oh my god. Or has it been Crucifix this entire time? Anyways, this book is called that. By good old Ray Garton. This is kind of a chunker, but I don't know. It sounds cool. I'll read it. Obviously, it's why I bought it. And then last, but certainly not least, is Halo by Chet Day. I've actually owned this book once before, for the briefest amount of times, because I got it from Thrift Books, and they sent me a book that was full of mold. So I had to get rid of it before everyone died. Hoo-hoo! Thanks, Thrift Books. Anyway, so that's my questionable haul, and also a kitten. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and, stay spooky. Zoom. Shroom. That's what I had in every video now. Shroom.